Yo, 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 my boy, we back. We
Yes,
back.
sir. Back again.
Another episode, man. Game within the game, man. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
If not,
yeah,
you still
so
got to fucking hear it.
yeah. I know. They they don't like us already, but fuck it.
Hey, such is life.
They don't like.
That's how you know we doing
Yeah,
something
such
right.
is life. Exactly. So y'all know how this shit go. I'm a freestyle this shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get on my rapper shit. I'm gonna freestyle these titles. So this one, the name of this episode is gonna be Victimless crimes. Just don't. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Nah,
I
we
don't
here.
know.
Nah, I'm here for this one.
Okay, so I don't know if the title explain the take or the game within the game, but I thought it sounded cool, right? So
Nah, it sound real good, and they'll get it when we get into it.
yeah, so all right, so basically, I'll kind of give you the alley oop like I usually do, right? So this is how I would equate this stuff. The normal human responses to tragedy, right? Usually it sounds like, damn, well, I hope that's not true. I wish things like this would never happen. I can't believe he or she would do anything like this, um, or do such a thing. Yeah, that's usually the human responses, right? Um, People would say these things even if they didn't even if they thought otherwise, right? Just to be cordially kind or whatever the case may be, right? It's like this innate sense for human compassion kicks in automatically, right? It's the world we used to live in.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, right? I don't. It's not like that now. So it seems now we cheer on the trials and tribulations of others. Not only do we do it internally, like back in the days, but now we do it outwardly, right? So I guess my question to Mr. Jason Lamar and the world, or whoever's watching, my question would be, and I'll answer it too, briefly. But my question would be: can we attribute this to social media? Maybe not totally, but um, I think there is some blame there to be had, right? In my opinion, because if you didn't have the comfy confines of your iPhone screen, you would probably have to physically, publicly express your complete joy for someone else's pain, right? If you didn't have the comfy confines of your computer screen or behind your laptop or your iPhone, you would have to probably physically, publicly be out like, man, I'm really glad you got that rape charge, brother. you know, yeah, and that probably wouldn't go so well, right? So yeah, that's my take on it. Um, would you, Jason? Would you attribute some, most, or all blame to maybe social media, or partially some blame?
I would say I have a hard time trying to blame anything. I would say that social media kind of gave people a vehicle, if you will, because people were always this way to some extent back in the day. Like if you think, for example, driving up the freeway, there's always somebody who's zooming in and out of traffic, and then you see this person at some point in their time at times sitting in their car screaming at the people beside them a bunch of shit that they would absolutely never say to them in person because they're in the safety and confines of their vehicle, so they can let out all of their rage and vitriol without any real repercussions, because it's very rare that this person that sees them yelling is going to follow them to wherever it is that they're going and actually do something about it, right? So social media kind of serves as a similar apparatus for people to be able to share their less than ideal thoughts with the world from the safety of their phone screen or their computer screen, and on top of that with the anonymity of whatever it is that they would like to name their profile, user 2873654J. is always the cruelest motherfucker to ever walk the face of the earth, as well as the most gangster person that has ever lived. You know, if you said, if he heard you say something that he doesn't like in person, he would have murdered your whole entire family. And he has all of this shit to say, all of this ill wishes for everybody, and nobody knows who the fuck he is. So people feel safe behind that. So I don't think that social media is specifically at fault. I think that it gave people uh I hate the usage of this word, but a safe space to express who it is that they don't have the courage to be in real life.
Yeah. Okay. I could definitely see that. Um, and I really got no pushback to that because it's fucking actually true. Um, I just I just sometimes I wonder why, right? What is it what is it in us that we secretly, most of us secretly, cheer for someone else's downfall, right? And not like you're cheering for someone's downfall, but you don't mind it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think at this point it's damn near cheering. Like people get so joyous at the idea that they get to cancel somebody, and it's the old saying. I know it's a cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason. The misery loves company. So it's people who aren't doing well with themselves who love to see someone else who appears to be doing better than them be brought down a few levels, so they could feel like they're not actually better than me. So they pile on to their misery and they add to it. And on top of that, I think that people like to feel like they're a good person without actually doing any good person stuff, right? So you hear, we'll use Diddy as an example. You hear Diddy's done all of these things, and your whole entire life Diddy has been a rich person who people aspire to be. He's living the lifestyle that most people dream of, and then you hear all of a sudden he's a bad person. So it gives you the an opportunity to feel better about yourself, because you have the justification of, a, I'm not a bad person, which is why I'm not where it is that he is, which is why I'm not doing these things, because I haven't sold my soul and done all of this evil shit, right? And this is what people like to tell themselves. It's a comfort food of sorts. But I think that what a lot of people miss when they're going down this stuff, right, and they're tweeting online about how Diddy is guilty and Diddy did this, you need to lock up Diddy, or Jay-Z did this, Jay-Z's guilty, you need to lock up Jay-Z, or fucking Andrew Tate is online selling people, or whatever the fuck it is that they're saying that he did, is that in cheering for someone to be guilty of these crimes, when you're cheering for these people to be brought to justice, you're also by extension cheering for them to be guilty. And when you're cheering for someone to be guilty of a crime, by extension of that, you're cheering for someone to have been the victim of a crime. So when you hear that Diddy is a sexual predator, then you are also hoping that someone is sexual prey, because that's what comes with that, right? If one thing is true, the other thing has to be true. If Diddy is out here selling people, or Andrew Tate's selling people, or whoever the fuck is doing all of this horrific, heinous, atrocious, Jesus Christ, shit, then someone is having these things done to them. One can't be true without the other. So the logical response, like you said at the beginning, it should be back in the day of, I hope this is not true. I hope that these people are making this up. I hope these are false accusations, because at the end of the day, it's better for someone to be a liar than to be a victim of some sort of sexual assault, right? Like that's a
Hmm.
terrible thing to wish on people, but that's exactly what you're doing when you want these people to be guilty.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
they want some people to fall so bad that they want other people to suffer, but they don't even think of that, because it's not actually about them being a good person. It's about them feeling like they're better than other people.
Yeah, that's actually, it's probably even some deeper shit than that, because if you're cheering for someone else, if you're cheering for someone else's fall, and you got to remember this, it's not just those people, it's the people surrounded the victims and all of that. You're basically cheering for everyone's downfall, because if it's true, then obviously, there's a lot of pain there, and you cheer for one, you cheer for all, right? There's something deeply wrong with you. There's something about you, right? There's something missing in you, and that makes me think, right? When you kept saying good people, or trying to be good, or whatever, and people, I don't think people got this misconception of what's good and how to be good and how to act good, and act kind. It's always an act. Oh, you act, that guy's acts kind, or that was a kind sentiment, and but that, oh, I always wonder about shit like that, right? Because I'm not necessarily maybe the most compassionate person all the time, but I would I would call myself a good person, right? Um, if I was to have $10 billion, I would randomly go around giving millions of dollars away without recording it. I would do that without recording it. I would do that with the no. I don't want to be awarded for it. I don't want to be praised for it. I don't even want anybody to know I'm doing it. I'm doing it for myself. Um, so I think people get the wrong idea about what a good person is. Just because you say nice things, uh, I don't equate you to be a good person, right? Or you may tweet nice things, or you may comment under someone's profile about, they posting their sickly kids, and you put the prayer hands, and that's cool, but that does not make you a good person, right? Like so I always I know that's kind of off subject, but I always kind of struggle with that when someone says, "Oh yeah, man, I think I'm a good person, man." Like, so I think good is an action, right? I think good is an action. It's not something you say. I think word people throw these words around like loyalty. I think loyalty is an action, right? I don't think you could just blindly say I'm loyal, I'm good. You can't say someone's evil if they like. The other day, I leave names out of it, but the other day I was having a conversation, and someone said that, I'm not even going to say the name of this person, but it's a big person in politics or whatever, and they say, "Oh, that person's evil," and I was like, "Yeah, like evil is if you evil, you did some evil shit, like like you can't hide evil." So I'm like, okay, what evil did this person do? Like, I'm not denying that that person might be damn sure might be evil. I don't know, but please inform me. Did that person do anything evil that I don't know about? Because I know what evil is. Oh no, well no, not really. You couldn't answer. So we just throw these words around. That's a good person. That's an evil person. That's this person. That's that person. But I think all these things are action. You have to act upon what you are. Like, you are what you are, and that will show. So I just thought that was funny. I have these conversations from day to day, and I'm like, and people throw these words around, and it's frustrating to me because I'm really literal. I'm a literal person. If you say something, I'm gonna take it as what it is. That person is evil. Word, damn, that motherfucker. He got a kid in the basement somewhere. I don't. No,
Out here
not like
sacrificing
that.
children and shit.
Yeah, no, he just said some shit I ain't like. Like, okay, nah, well, yeah, no, I don't, yeah. Oh, that person's good, man. Yeah, he a good person, man. He had left some prayer hands under my post. Like, okay, yeah, nah, that's not, I just thought that, I just think that these words that people throw around is, and there's a lot more words that, I'm just paraphrasing here, like legend and greats and good and
Classic.
evil and classics, and people love these words, and I just think these things are actions, man. I know that's kind of off subject, but when you kept saying, good person, good this, good that, like, well, yeah, these words, man. I think people they should really respect certain words, especially rape, evil, good, pedophilia. These words should be taken seriously, and that leads me into something else, OJ. Like, yeah, we real interested in other people's trauma and shit. But then it'd be like, when I hear something like an island and little boys and girls being mistreated and misused and then that's not really we don't have enough energy for that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That stuff that happened? Like, that's real evil to me. Like, that shit happened. Like, there is an island where they had little boys and girls, and powerful people flew back and forth there. And we know these powerful people, and there's a list that these powerful people are on, and and we don't have that. And we talk about baby oil in the house in the mansion. I'm like, oh, that's cool and all, but what's up with homeboy? Like, what's like? Maybe it's just me, but I love the kids, man. Not in that man. I love kids, man. The kids of the future. Like, you can't be just that. You can't get away with shit like that to me. And I'm just that's just falling to the wayside to me. What do you think about that?
So, damn, you brought up so many things I want to touch on. All right, I'm gonna
My
start with
bad,
this
my
one.
bad.
Nah, you good.
I'm a rambler. I'm a rambler, man. My bad.
So in relation to that, man, I my personal thoughts is I think that the worst thing that you could do in general life, right? Like all sorts of misdeeds exist on a scale, and I think at the very top or highest point of the scale, wherever it is you would like to qualify that, is the corruption of innocence. So that's where the shit like the this island and shit falls into. It's just such a cruel thing to do, and it's causing harm to others for purely your own gain and enjoyment, and it's such a callous thing. And you would think that, like you said, that would be what's getting all of this attention, right? And not only that, if this is the thing that you found out about, then going back to what we've spoken about before, this is what you were allowed to know.
Right,
This is what they
right,
showed you. So if they're willing
right,
to show you something to that level of evil, this is an appropriate usage of evil. If they're willing to show you something to that level of evil, then that makes me think it's to distract you from looking further, right? Because you think that's the very bottom, so why would you keep digging deeper? But
right.
I don't know. People are so easily distracted by all of this other nonsensical bullshit, like you said, the baby oil and all of this. People have so much more energy than this type of stuff, and that just gets swept under the rug, or they want to talk about the fucking UFOs or the shit overseas, but not what's going on right here. Like if you're not here, if you're not going to show up to protect children, then what are you fucking doing? What is it that you truly stand for here, right? You want to march in the street to say that the men could be women and need to be accepted as such, but you don't want to protect the fucking kids. Like that's absolute insanity to me, because at the end of the day, like we're people, we're more evolved, yes, but on a base level, all of us exist simply to procreate and carry on our DNA, our legacy, and further society, right? And that is the very essence of that, is making sure that the children are safe and can grow to a level where it is that they have the opportunity to do that themselves without having to be exposed to all kinds of fucked up shit at a very young age. Like this isn't even like some sort of opinion or lifestyle difference type of thing. This is blanket moral and immoral. This is wrong and right. This is good and bad on a very basic universal level, right? So if that's not something that you have energy for, if that's not something that you're going to dedicate yourself to, then what are you doing? All of that shit, it just makes everything else seem so much fucking emptier, right? Like you want to talk about justice for these random ass people. Okay, fine. But this is an adult who made some degree of decision, who put themselves in a
Hmm.
situation. Like maybe it didn't turn out favorably for them, and that's unfortunate. Everything doesn't work out for everybody, but focus on the people who had absolutely no say in the matter, who are true victims. Like I talk about people being victims a lot, people having victim mindsets a lot, and I apply this to adults, because once you're past a certain point, yeah, everything that happens to you is on you. Like if you walk down a dark ass alleyway and you get robbed and stabbed, that's unfortunate, but it was also your choice to walk down that fucking alleyway. So you have to put that type of responsibility on grown folks, but children don't have the same level of wherewithal to be held responsible for that. And even if they do, they lack the physical strength to implement it, so it doesn't count. So if you have to stand for some shit, if it's not for the protection or preservation of innocence, then what the fuck is it for? None of that really means anything, right? And if you don't care about that, how much do you care about the people who lost their homes? How much do you care about the people who are over fucking seas with their getting bombed and shit? All of it's performative. How much do you care about Diddy's victims, or alleged victims? I'm not saying he did anything. How much do you care about
Hmm.
any of this shit? All of it's fucking performative, because you're not willing to stand up in even the smallest capacity for the most base and obvious right and wrong, which is absolute insanity to me. And that's the thing, because but the thing is, talking about that, like, stuff comes with talking about that stuff, right? You could go online and you could
Mm-hmm.
talk about Diddy and shit all day and nobody gives a fuck. He's a celebrity at the end of the day. At the end of the day, regardless of whatever it is that happened, that's gossip. The other stuff is actual things of actual people in power who have actually done something, and you will face real repercussions for that. And people don't actually want to do that. And like you said, being a good person is an action, and you're not actually doing anything good if it's not costing you anything, whether that be people not liking you, whether that be some sort of strikes, whether that be people telling you that you're crazy, whatever the fucking case may be. If it doesn't cost you anything, it doesn't have to be monetary in any sense, then you're not really doing anything good. Without some level of sacrifice, you haven't done something. So, like, when people talk about giving away money, like, sure, you're giving away money, but there's a difference between giving away money and giving away money that will actually impact you in some capacity, right? It's easy to give homeless people on the corner fucking 50, 75 cents out your car. It doesn't really mean anything. But who's actually, of the people who are sitting there talking about they're good people because they give homeless people change, who's handing them hundreds of dollars? Who's handing them the food that they have in their car because they see that they need them and they just came back from groceries? Who's giving them that shit? Nobody's really willing to do anything. So if you're not actually willing to make some sort of sacrifice, then it doesn't really mean anything, because if you're not standing for anything, then you're not shit at the end of the day, and all of it's for play, and it means absolutely fucking nothing, and it's just under the guise of being nice and you saying what it is that you feel that people would like to hear, or you cosplaying as a good person who cares about some shit, but it's not real. It's just an act. It's a performance. And like you said, it's the people running around giving out meals and recording it, and the people handing out money everywhere and be like, oh look, I'm a good person, I'm doing this, I'm giving homeless people haircuts, let me make a YouTube series out of it. How about you just give the fucking homeless people haircuts? How about you just give them food? How about you just
Right,
give them money? Why do you need the pat on the back for it? Jay-Z said, I
right,
don't know if it's his quote, but Jay-Z said, purest form of giving is anonymous. Because once you take something away from that and you start looking for credit, now your intentions are diluted. Now it just seems like you were doing it to get some sort of applause. And even if that's an added bonus for you, that's fine. But the reason that you were doing it should be for the other person. Otherwise, now it's just selfish and self-aggrandizing.
right. Yeah, and that goes. It's crazy you say that, but yeah. So the other day we had posted something on our Instagram page, a game within the game podcast page, and yeah, there was some people with some different set of opinions, but one yeah, but one opinion kind of stood out to me. Not opinion, but one statement kind of stood out. Many did, but this one kind of sticking to me right now, especially going off what you said. So basically, I said, you listen, man, like people should worry about themselves, right? If you can't change things for the greater of the whole, you should probably just worry about yourself and change your own life. You can't change you can't change anyone else's life if you can't change your own life, right? So basically, this person, kind of, I don't want to fuck up this statement, but I'm going to fuck it up anyway. But the basic idea of what he was saying was, well, that's basically selfish, or selfish, right? So going off of what you just said, if everyone, right, if every single person worried about them being the greatest version of themselves, I think that would probably start to change things around. Probably, right? If every single person started to act on what they say they are. Oh, if you're a good person, let's see it. Right? If you're great at something, let's see it. And I did, and that goes. I know I'm jumping all over the place because shit is just jumping in my head, right? Uh, somebody told me, and I know you're gonna love this. Somebody was like, I got into the conversation of loving oneself, and because that goes into words and actions, right? So when you say you love yourself, someone said, "Oh man, I love me some me," and they like 300 pounds. I'm like, how you? Hold on, no, like hold on, wait. But isn't that? Shouldn't we have some? Nah, for real though, Jay. Like, like I don't want to be, what I mean. But listen, man, I'm simple, right? Like I said, I'm a simple, right? So you say you love yourself, so that's an action to me. to me, that's an action as well. So this person was like over 300 pounds. You feel me? So I'm like, how could you love yourself though? You could say it, and those words are beautiful, right? But you're not actually loving yourself. You're just saying it, right? Um, we discussed this before. Love is hard. Like that, it's nothing easy about love. We said it before. Love is a bunch of shit you don't want to do, right? That is that's for me. That's my how I equate love. Like if I ask my wife to do something, I know she don't want to do it, but she do it anyway because why? She loves me, right? Or I do some shit I don't want to do. My daughter's fucking in college. Her tuition is fucking insane, right? I'm out of pocket. I don't want to pay that shit. I know college is fucking bullshit. This is bullshit. I know college is bullshit, right? We know these things. Jay, we know this, right?
That's a fact.
But guess what? Yeah, no, college is bullshit, right? But she's 18, 19, 20 years old. She's 19 years old. She's in college. She wants to graduate. I'm paying the college, right? I don't want to. I'm doing it because it's an action. I'm the action of love is doing something you hate doing, but you do it anyway, right? So I pay the tuition. As hard as it is to do, I do it, right? Because I love my kids, right? And my youngest got a fucking tuition too. She's fucking 8 years old and got a fucking school, they, monthly tuition, right? You do these things because you love the people around you, right? So if you loved yourself, you would do the hard things. You wouldn't take the easy way out, right? Which is not really even the easy way out of being 300, 400 pounds. It's not the easy way out, right?
It's just
But,
differently hard.
right, it's just a different way to be hard. But I know I'm all over the place, but I just found that to be funny that people just use these words without having any meaning behind them. Like, I love myself, like, and I'm looking at you, and you're the opposite of that. You look like the opposite of somebody who would love themselves, literally. And you're saying it confidently. Like it doesn't matter how confident you say it. It doesn't make it true. How loudly, if you say it as loudly as you want, it doesn't make it true. What makes it true is doing the hard things, right? The hard things. It's hard to get up early and work out when you got a 9 to 5. Or it's hard to not eat things that you crave on a minute to minute, week by week, day by day, hour by hour type of deal. It's hard to refrain from sugars and sweets and shits that taste good. That's the hard. But if you did love yourself, truly loved yourself, if you truly loved yourself, you would do the hard things, right? You would do the hard things. And then I could look at you and I could say, okay, you probably do love yourself. You look like someone who loves yourself, right? So I just found out to be interesting. I know I'm all over the place, but that's how what we do. My brain works fast. That's how so I just found that interesting. I'd just like to hear your take on that.
Yeah, so I have thoughts on both things, right? So in relation to the first part about the guy who said that you were selfish for saying that you should focus on yourself.
And we'll get back to them comments too. We'll get back to them comments. I was just jumping around, but we'll get back to them comments. Hold on.
Let me do it backwards then. So here's the thing.
Right,
First and
right.
foremost, if you I'm a big believer that if you were truly a thing, you wouldn't have to tell other people that you were that thing. They would know it. It's like the people who run around talking about their alpha or their gangsters or some shit, right? It's no, you're not. That's why you're announcing this shit. This is not how this works. Other people can pick up on this shit. So if you truly loved yourself, you don't need to run around saying that you love yourself. I get people who pop up under my shit all of the time when I've said absolutely nothing about me, and they're like, "Man, you're really into you, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, absolutely. I really fucking
Yeah,
am.
what the
Like,
fuck?
I love me. I care about me. I fucking support me. I don't feel bad about this
100%.
at all. People act like this is such a shameful thing, but it's like, no, I do hard shit all day from the time that I wake up, throughout the remainder of the day, I do a bunch of shit that I don't want to because I know that it's what's best for me. So I have confidence in myself. I have confidence in my word. I work out. I'm in good shape. I'm proud of that shit. I'm proud of the shit that I've done. I work on my mind. I'm proud of that shit. I'm proud of the things that I think. I'm proud of the way that I fucking speak. And that's how everybody should feel about their fucking self. But you need to first do
Absolutely.
the work to make that, to qualify yourself to have these feelings. So the fact that this person is running around talking about all of the time, I love myself. And that's who it always is. It's always the super overweight people or the super broke people who are running around talking about how much it is that they love themselves. And if you truly loved yourself, you wouldn't need to run around advertising that shit because it would be apparent. You would reflect love of self by being in shape, by taking care of yourself, by dressing well, by all of these things. But you can't say that you love yourself when you are a product of self-destructive behavior, which is exactly what that is. You're sitting there consuming all of this food all of the time simply because it feels good. And people have been told that the pursuit of pleasure is somehow self-care, and that's what it is that you're doing for yourself, right? But that's what leads people to being fucking junkies, because how do you think people wind up addicted to crack? They wanted to feel good, and the crack made them feel good. And then when they weren't smoking the crack, they felt bad, so they smoked more fucking crack. And obesity and being 300-400 pounds isn't different than being a crackhead. Your drug is just different. But when you see the motherfucker over there strung out on the corner with his face all scabbed up from scratching the skin off and shit because he's having withdrawals, that's no different than the person whose stomach is flapping over their fucking waistband and have chins that connect like this. That's a junkie just as much as the fucking heroin addict is a junkie. It's all the same. It's just inability to control what it is that makes you feel good in the moment. But in the same way that you can't sit there and see somebody on the corner strung out on fucking meth and say, man, that person must really love themselves. You also can't see someone who has all of these excess rolls and body fat and say, man, this person must really love themselves. If you loved yourself, you would take care of yourself. And exactly like you said, you're the first person I've ever heard that from, but that's my favorite definition that I've ever heard of love is doing the shit that you don't want to do, right? Because it's real easy to do what it is that you enjoy. It's real easy to do what it is that makes you feel good. What the fuck does that mean? If you're only willing to do shit for other people who you like, they're gonna think that you're selfish because all you do is the shit that you enjoy, right? You're here for hanging out and watching movies that you want to watch, but you don't want to watch the movies that they want to watch. You want to go to fun dinners when you feel like it, but otherwise you just want to sit your ass at home and play fucking video games. Like, you're a selfish motherfucker. It's the exact same thing when you treat yourself like this, when you sit around drinking and doing drugs and skipping workouts and sleeping in and wasting all of your fucking time and filling your brain up with the trash that you see on Netflix and Hulu, or scrolling through TikTok, watching videos of people popping water balloons on their head or whatever dumb shit it is that people are doing, fucking backflipping off of crates in the shopping carts on some jackass shit. Like, if you loved yourself, you would be nurturing your mind. You would be taking care of your body. You would be pushing yourself to be the absolute best version of you. And while variants of that are subjective, like, yeah, everyone doesn't want to look like a bodybuilder. That's fine. I don't want to look like a fucking bodybuilder. But being in shape in and of itself is not a subjectively good thing. That's the appropriate thing to do. Even if you go back to the natural thing, if you take a look at the animals, right? All animals are heavily muscled, and they are the general shape of their skeleton. They are all in good shape. That's why you see fucking tiger. I don't know. Tigers only live to be like 12, right? But you never see an old decrepit tiger. They live their whole entire life in good shape because they do what they're supposed to do. Even if you see dogs and cats who are well taken care of, when you see an elderly 15-year-old dog, they still have energy. They still move around, assuming that they weren't overfed and they were treated properly. But they still move around like younger dogs and younger cats. Not to the exact same degree, but they still do. But then you see these people get real old and they're just all broken down and shit because they're not taking care of themselves. That's not just like the natural process of aging. That's a result of your lifestyle. And if you cared about yourself, you would live a lifestyle that would be conducive to you being as healthy and virile and youthful for as long as possible. Like, I've seen 89-year-old women doing pull-ups in the park. Granted, it was on videos, but still though, like, if they could do that, other people could do that. They're not special. They've just taken care of themselves. So that's what loving yourself looks like. Loving yourself is wanting to go through the drive-thru on the way home to get the McDonald's, but knowing that you should go back and cook yourself something with some vegetables or some protein, right? It's It's not just treating yourself to whatever it is that pops into your head. If that was the case, I would still be smoking fucking Black and Milds and eating fast food every day and ice cream at night before I went to sleep and sleeping till noon, because that's what feels good, but it's not what's good for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you have to, like, again, back to the other thing. Nothing counts if you're not willing to sacrifice for it. So love is no different. You have to sacrifice for it as well, whether that's self-love or outward love. If you're not willing to sacrifice, make yourself uncomfortable, do some shit that you don't want to do, then you don't love a motherfucking thing.
right. Yeah, and I want to say this to whoever's listening and to listeners now and future listeners, right? Like, it's good. It's cool just to pile on, right? And we pile on and we'll pile on and we'll curse at you but we genuinely want to see people do better, right? So I just don't want to come on here and pile on people. So when I say, was talking in the 300 pounds, and it's like, all right, well, like you said, it could have been a drug addict, it could have been anybody, right? I just think that that's an action, right? You just don't say these words, right? So I wanted to ask you, right? And we'll go over this a little bit. Like, when it comes to your daily routine, right? And staying in shape and eating the right things, and where do you find the energy, and what's kind of your routine, right? So I'll go over my routine a little bit before we get to yours. So, and a little bit of history, you know. So I've always been battling weight my whole life, right? So I was never obese, but I was definitely a bigger guy, right? Um, didn't know exactly how to eat. And I think a lot of us don't know how to eat, right? I don't even know if we know how this shit really works, calories, macros, and shit like that, right? I learned that later on. I went. I've tried. I've tried every diet there is, every last diet there is. Jay, I'm talking about. I've been vegan. I've been everything. Vegan. I didn't need meat. I didn't need this. I didn't need that. Every diet you could think of, I've done it, right. Um, the best one that works for me now is the one I'm on now, and it's basically protein, man. I eat a lot of protein. I eat a lot of protein. I very little carbs in my life on a day to day basis. If I do eat a carb, it's pre workout maybe, for some energy and stuff like that. I just want to kind of put my finger on it for people to know what they're eating wrong, what they might be eating wrong, what they might be doing wrong with their diet, and everybody's different, right? So everybody's bodies reacts different to different shit. But the one thing I can say that's going to work for everyone, right, is to stop or eliminate processed foods, right? Packaged foods, packaged goods, anything that comes in a package. If you can't grow it, hunt it, gather it, fish it, you probably shouldn't eat it, right? That diet would work for anyone, right? So you would probably want to start there and go from there. And then exercise, man. You can't say you love yourself and you don't exercise. I don't give a fuck. Like Jay said, like I don't want to be no fucking bodybuilder. But you know what? I want to be when I'm 60 years old, 65, 70 years old. I still want to be functional, right? I don't want to be decrepit. I don't want to be decrepit, man. And I've seen it in my own life. Like, my mom, older people in my life, is you see them hobbling around, and it's like we can avoid that now, right? And I know we pile on, and we might be a little jovial or satirical a little bit, but it's serious, man. Like, I hate when people don't take it seriously. Oh, well, it's just a little pizza, a little alcohol. You got to have fun and shit, but it's always fun until you're 60, 70, hobbling around, or you're on a hospital bed, and then everybody wants to kind of fucking mourn and shit like that when it could have been stopped early, right? So this is the type of shit we take seriously, and if we pile on you and and it's not making fun, but if we pile on you, it's because this shit needs to stop, man. You need to make a change, and shit, we'll help you do it. We'll help you do it. If we can supply this as much information we can, that's what we're going to do.
So that's a taking pausing from the routine thing for a second. So that reminded me of what you said earlier about the you not always being the most compassionate, because I hear that a lot too, that I'm not the most compassionate person in the world. And quite honestly, I disagree. And I think that that goes back to what it is that people have been told about stuff and the niceness thing, because people mistake being compassionate for just telling everyone that it's okay, and I understand what it is that you're going through. It's okay. It'll be all right. I don't subscribe to that shit. Much like with the love thing, sometimes the most loving thing that you could do for someone is tell them what it is that they don't want to hear. So when we sit here and say shit like you're 300 pounds because you eat too much food and you're fucking your life up, you don't love yourself, that's the loving thing to do. That's the
Uh,
compassionate thing to do, is tell the people what it is that they don't want to hear. Like I say all of the time, like people come to me and they want to talk about their addiction and shit. It's like, okay, cool, but you chose that shit. First and foremost, we need to acknowledge this. You've chosen that shit. This was on fucking you. I don't give a fuck about any of the rest of the shit. And some people take it properly. Some people tell me I'm being mean. I'm not being mean. I'm telling you a fact. I'm telling you a fact that you need to accept so that you can change yourself. If I didn't give a fuck about you, I would be like, oh, poor you. That sucks. I know it's difficult, because there is nothing that comes with that. Once you tell someone that, you're absolving yourself of any sort of further responsibility or difficult conversations. You're just saying the thing that's pleasant. And again, back to love. Love is being willing to do the hard shit. And the harder shit to do is to tell you that you have fucked up your life and why it is that you have fucked up your life. Because more comes with that. Uh as opposed to just telling someone what it is that they want to hear. There's more stuff that comes with saying, hey, you fucked up your life, because now we have to sit there. If you're going to point out problems, I believe that you also have to help find a solution. So when I'm
yep.
telling you that you have a problem, I'm also taking it upon myself to find a solution. If I didn't give a fuck about you, or to help you find a solution at least, if I didn't give a fuck about you, why would I do that? I would just sit there and pat you on the back like everyone else does, say, oh, poor you, and we could sit here and be sad for a little fucking minute. You could feel good and go on about your fucking business. No, I don't want you to feel good about the fact that you feel bad. If you feel bad, I want you to figure out how to fucking fix it. And the compassionate thing to do is to tell you the hard truths, because everyone wants to be easy on themselves, and they want to tell themselves that, well, they got fired because their boss is a dick or unfair, but they want to ignore the fact that they show up to the work late all of the time, make a bunch of excuses, and don't do any extra shit. So that's to me, that's the compassionate thing to do, right? Is to tell people the difficult shit to hear. So when you see the fat person, the compassionate thing is not, oh, you still look good like that. It's like, no, you look like shit, and I know that you
Mm-mm.
feel like shit. That's the compassionate thing, is to make people be honest with themselves. You hold up the mirror for them so that they can look at themselves. Otherwise, you're just lying to them. You're misleading them, and you are enabling them. And that is the mean thing to do. That's the inconsiderate or uncaring thing to do. People have all of this shit backwards, and they just want to say all this goody fun nice shit, and that's what hurts people. Because as long as you can
Pandering.
walk, huh?
Pandering.
Exactly. Because as long as you can walk around thinking that, oh, it's okay that I'm like this because of this, as long as you have all these excuses and justifications and you think that it's okay and that the solution is for you to just accept it, you're never going to have the motivation to fucking change. But once you sit there and could look at yourself and be like, man, I look like shit, and I treat myself like shit, and that's fucked up, and I'm fucking up and failing, then you can come to the point where you know that you need to do something to change, because then it becomes unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And
Yeah,
that's
I
what people
just
fucking need.
right now and you're right about that. I just I know how to I know how they go. Oh man,
Oh
you're
yeah.
just piling on and this and that and you're calling, but and then this was kills me, man. I seen somebody kind of compare what we're doing to like maybe Andrew Tate or whatever, and I don't get stuff like that, right? All right, so I'm a rapper. I could have easily just, if I wanted to do a podcast, I could have easily just did a fucking rap podcast, right? I'm gonna talk about fucking rap. I'm gonna talk about what I know. I'm gonna be comfortable, right? I'm gonna just be comfortable, and there's comfort and comfort. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna make myself uncomfortable. I don't rap. I don't. You've never seen me talk in front of a camera on a consistent basis. That's not what I fucking do, right? but I chose to do this and choose this type of uh these type of topics because it's different to me, right? So I don't where you can't compare us to Tate, and even if you was right. All right, so you got hip. Let's take it to hip hop, right? There's like 17,000 coke rappers, right? It's like, why don't you point out that you feel me? Like, if we could, if can there be three or four guys that talk about health and health, wealth, and well
Man,
being? Can there be can there be other people who talk about that? That's male. You know what I'm saying? Can I curse? Can I curse and you not compare me to Goggins or fucking Tate or can I talk about a political issue here and there and not can be compared to Candace Owens? Like, you feel me? So that shit bugs me, man. Like, why do people do that? Like, all right, there's people who exist to talk about certain things that are similar, but it's not the same thing. Like, if I could rap and find a different way to talk about cocaine, which everyone talks about, and you listen to it anyway and not complain, it's the same shit, man. It's the same. We're just gonna give you our version of these subjects. That's all.
so first and foremost, the rap thing is hilarious because you think about like Pusha T and Stove God, right? Like they both talk about fucking selling coke all of the time, but they're both great and they're both different. Like this is a
Mm-hmm.
thing that can happen.
Yeah.
Like there are multiple people who do the same thing. There are like 35 fucking basketball teams. Like what are you talking about? Multiple people can
Like,
do the same
I don't
shit.
get it.
But
I don't get this shit, bro.
so people, because this is the thing, people knock shit and they just try and find ways to tear shit down. Like I hear the shit all of the time. Like someone will pop up and be like, oh, this sounds like something Wes Watson said, this sounds like something
Yeah,
David Goggins
yeah,
said, Andrew Tate said this. First and foremost, I'm not, I see some of their stuff, but I don't see everything that everyone says. I don't know everything that everyone has ever says. The problem is you running around cataloging everything on the internet just so you could pop
right.
up to have this little weird gotcha moment. You're not
Got you,
tricking
yo.
anybody. But the point of it is, especially when we get to these type of topics, right? At the end of the day, there is only one truth. So we're saying variants of the same thing because we're all saying variants of the truth, right? This is what certain people have in common is we're trying to point out the flaws in the narratives that have been pitched to you and the flaws in the types of thinking that everyone has and the flaws in the way that people look at what's being presented to them, right? And rather than saying these other people said this, so why are you saying it too? What you should be doing is looking and saying, if all of these people are saying this in different ways, maybe there's something to it. Maybe it's not just this one crazy person sitting in a room somewhere yelling about some weird shit, but other people have seen this and drawn the same conclusion. Maybe I should pay it more attention. Just like that's how things proliferate. Like enough people start talking about the earth was flat. Now a bunch of people say it because some people think,
Right.
maybe there's something to it. But and separate from that, we've spoken about this before. I don't know if it was on camera or not, but when you have certain things to say that you know will help people that have helped you, I think that's important that you find a way to say it, because everyone isn't going to be the messenger for everybody. Like I'm aware that I say a lot of this, a similar shit that maybe Tony Robbins has said, right? But there
Mm-hmm.
are some people who wouldn't receive it from Tony Robbins, but they will receive it from me. It's the same shit. Like I hear things from certain people that I won't be able to hear from other people. So going back to the original thing of improving yourself and being the best version of yourself, part of that is inspiring and awakening other people to be able to be the best version of themselves. Like you have to pass the shit on, right? And because you never know who needs to hear a message from you specifically. Even like in your music, I know that people hear some of the shit that you say and it's something resonates with them in a way that maybe it wouldn't have if they heard it from some random book or a school teacher or a politician
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the fuck, because you said it, because Ransom said it, and you have similar life experiences to other people. They're able to receive that from you. Like when you look at like even if you want to go down that, like Nipsey Hussle has said shit that fucking Tony Robbins said too, but you receive it from
Right.
Nipsey Hussle because you know Nipsey is fucking neighborhood Nip, like you know what he's doing, right? So there are certain people who can only receive certain things from certain messengers. So you knocking the messenger simply because it's not for you is, again, it's selfish as fuck, because people only care about them and they think that if something's not for them, it's not for anybody else either. So no one has a patent or any degree of ownership on truth. So if David Goggins says get in shape and I say get in shape, you say get in shape, fucking Wes Watson says get in shape. No one, this is not the theft of each other's messages. This is people
No.
sharing you
Yeah.
something that will help you. It's fucking ridiculous. But people think that if they could point this out, then they have an excuse to not do it. Well, you're all just saying the same shit as each other, so it doesn't mean anything now because they're fucking
Yeah,
idiots.
and they think we should be purposely weird about it. Like, well, Jason curses, you curse, and then Goggins curses, so you will, and Tate curses, so you are
You're
all
all the
the
same
same.
person now. Like, what do you want me to come here and sit there and tell
What
you the shit
the
from fucking metaphors about dinosaurs and unicorns and some shit? Goddamn.
right? Yeah,
Like,
so we got to do it. I gotta put on a 3-piece suit or some bullshit like that with an ascot or a scarf on, and I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Like
some
I
fucking
gotta
weirdos
now.
is here with T-Pain with a fucking
I gotta
top hat.
turn
Like,
into a character.
goddamn.
Yeah, now I got to turn into a character in order to tell you these what I want to tell you, right? No, I don't
Yeah,
think. Look,
exactly. Fuck that.
it's not.
If you
Yeah,
don't want to
nah,
hear
we're
it,
gonna do
fuck
it our
off.
fucking way. We're gonna do it our fucking way.
Motherfucking right. Goddamn. But see,
Yeah,
that's
fuck all that shit.
but this is the thing though, because everyone else, because most people want to be other people, they assume that everyone else does too. Like, because they
Yeah,
lack authenticity in their own lives, so they assume that no one is authentic.
right. Yeah, and you said it perfectly. Said it perfectly, and it's crazy because that leads me into something else, right? Is and it'd be like little keywords, right? Like when we curse, you curse and now you want to be like this person, or you do this, you want. So going back to the comments, right? And just to give people a little context, me and Jason, we just posted something, and the title of the post, I believe, was performative. What
The
was it?
pitfalls of political
Pitfalls,
pandering, I believe.
the pitfalls of political pandering, right? And we go into our spiel, and we mention Obama and Clinton, and we're joking, being jovial, like, oh, this guy's playing the basketball, this guy's playing the sax, you guys fall for it, ha ha, shame on you, or whatever the case may be. And in the comments, people do these weird things, and they automatically, because we didn't mention Trump or that side of the street, because we didn't mention anyone from that side of the street, we are automatically either Trump supporters or Republican or let me make that clear, man. Let me make this. Let me. I want to clear all that shit up. There is no fucking side of the street here. Everybody can fucking get it. I don't give a fuck about none of them. They all could get it. Like, just because you pick, like, so people pick out these little things and they want to, or they make up shit that doesn't even fucking exist. Oh, you guys, and oh yeah, but Trump, and we didn't even mention Trump. I don't give a fuck about that motherfucker. Like, so people automatically went to, well, you guys are coons because you support Trump. Who the fuck said that? We support we support freedom. We support freedom of thinking, right? Yeah, think. Why do you need them to think for you? I don't give a fuck about nobody in that government. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I think for myself. I'm a free man. I don't give a fuck. So just because we didn't mention Trump, that does not mean we're Trump supporters. I don't even then I don't even know what that means at the end of the day. I did not what does it entail? What hold on, Jason. What does it entail to be a Trump supporter? Well, like, what do I have to put on? Is it the hat? Is it a couple of dollars towards the campaign? Is it a tweet? Is it what do you have to
T-shirt.
do to be a T-shirt? What is it? A Trump support or here's a great one. Here's a great one. How about you don't if you don't mention his name, you're a supporter. If you don't even say his name, you're a supporter, right? If you're criticizing another politician and you don't add him in, you're a supporter. This shit is the weirdest shit ever. Like this dude has is some type of charisma he got or spell he got over y'all motherfuckers. Like I don't I don't see it. I swear I'm so confused. Why do people talk about him on a minute to minute basis, an hour to hour? Why do y'all talk about him so much? Why does it matter? Why does this guy matter so much? I know he's the president of the fucking United. I don't give a fuck. Why does it matter in your life, right? So did it magically happen that he became the president? Did you lose your job? Did you have to go to work the next day? Right? You had to. Did your boss call you and say you had to work extra hours? Did he
Did you get
lower your pay?
evicted?
What the fuck happened? Or if your candidate was to magically get was to get voted in, like what would happen the next day? Would you go into work and your boss say, "Well, guess what? Here's an extra $50,000, right? Just because your candidate won, right?
You picked
And
right.
guess what? And guess what? Go home. Go home. You don't even got to work. You ain't got to go. You ain't got to work today. Go home. Go lay down. Go lay down in your bed. Like I don't understand. Like what's the big deal? Like I don't understand what's the big deal, yo, Jay. I know I'm simple, man. Oh yeah, you don't understand, and you don't understand. I'm a simple thinker. I don't understand. That guy being in office doesn't affect me one bit. I'm gonna be as great as I'm gonna be with or without that orange man. I don't even. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I don't even think about him. Why do people think about this dude so much? Where's the appeal, man? Because if they think that hating him, they think that I don't equate that to being love. Listen, I love the Giants, but I hate them right now. I'm a fucking fan. I'm a fan of the New York Giants, but I hate them motherfuckers. So don't try to hide and say, "Oh, I hate. Oh man, I can't go outside because Trump won." I've heard people say this, dog. Like I can't go to my favorite cafe because there's a couple of supporters in there. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people, man? What is wrong with you, man? What's gotten on? Why, no, Jay. What the fuck has gotten into you, motherfuckers, man? You can't go to your favorite spot because this is like what the. I'm sorry, man. I'm
Nah, I'm
sorry.
all the way here for this shit because I remember
Nah,
whenever
for real,
the
man.
fucking
Like for real. Come on. Yo,
I remember
look.
when the
I'm
fuck
gonna tell you, like, hey Jay, look. I'm gonna tell you a quick story, right? And my sister's gonna kill me for this. Well, she might. Hopefully, she doesn't hear it. So, I'm on the line, I'm on a chat with my sister, my brother. And mind you, my brother's it's my oldest brother, right? He's like a fucking brain surgeon or some shit. Like he's like a brain surgeon, right? And my sister's like a head lead nurse, and she got vacation homes and all this type of shit, right? So this is like I think the day after they found out he was gonna be the president. And here goes my brother. He texting like, I can't believe that man is in office. So I said, I don't know. I'm texting in his voice. I don't know if y'all do this too. You read, I'm texting. I can't believe that man is in office. He's real studious. The motherfucker got his studious. I can't believe that man is in this office. So I'm like, hey Jay, I'm being quiet. I'm like, let me sit this one out. Right here go my sister. I'm at work and I can't believe it. Uh, we we can't go to our vacation home. She said this, right? She was like, I don't even think I want to go to my vacation home because there's supporters around there. So yeah, that's when I just lost it. I said, are you fucking guys? And these are my oldest siblings, right? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, y'all serious right now? Yo, dog, you're a fucking brain surgeon, dog. Like, like what the fuck is it? Like, what are you talking about? You got a vacation home. You talking about? So did these people? So she can't go to her vacation home. They was gonna go, but she can't go because Trump won. So because there's Trump supporters surrounding the area. There's Trump
oh
supporters
no.
surrounding the area. They have hats, right? They have hats and shirts, right? So she says she can't go because she doesn't want to be around them. So I said, hold on, wait a minute. When did you find out that they were supporters? So you frequented your vacation home around the same people that said hello and goodbye, right? So it was okay before. No one, you didn't know. And then magically they become Trump supporters because he won. My logic says they were always who they were. What magically changed now? Or did you change? You changed. They're still going to say hello. Hey, how you doing? Hey, nice dog. They're going to do all that same shit. You changed. You look at them differently. You're scared. Like I said, I said, what the fuck? You can't go. You're not going to go to your fucking comfy vacation. Your comfy vacation. Oh my god. She's going to kill me for this. But I said, man, get toughen up. Toughen the fuck. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with
Man, I remember right after the fucking election and all the people were sitting there online talk about how they couldn't go anywhere anymore and they were going to leave the country and all of this shit. And like the world had been taken over by a fucking zombie plague. Like we're in some Resident Evil shit or something. It's like you're around the same fucking people, man.
you? It's the
Nobody
same
gives a
people.
shit. And first, and on top of that, you're not going to leave. You're not going to do any fucking thing. Like
You're not going
you're just
nowhere.
going to complain. You're going to sit here and you're going to keep doing exactly what you're doing, going to the same places and talking to the same people. You're not going to leave the country. You're not going to become celibate. You're not going to do any of that shit. Shut the fuck up. This is stupid. But I, I think that people, because he's been like so vilified across media, right? So some people fall in line and they hate him like they're told that they're supposed to. And the other people try and go against that and love him, but what they don't realize is you're still falling for the same exact tactic, just in the opposite direction. You think you're going against it, but you're participating in it still because you have invested yourself in this person just as much as the people who hate them. Like this is what we go here. This is why we are talking about this shit. Like you have to free your fucking mind from these things. You're not crafty because you did the opposite of what they told you to do. Like there are more than two options. There is more than yes and no. There is more than support or hate. There is indifference. You cannot participate. You could sit there and pick what it is that works best for you. And going back to what you said about the people who popped up on the post to say that you guys must be Trump supporters because you didn't, because you said something negative about Barack and Bill. Pausing for a second because they think that they're smart. And if they actually realize what we were talking about specifically was politicians pandering to black
Pandering.
people. And who panders to black people? The Democrats. However it is that you feel about that, it is what it is. I didn't make that be the case. I didn't make them do it. I simply observed. You simply observed. All we did is say what it is that they do.
Right.
So
hold on, Jay. Is it true or not?
it's nothing but facts. Absolutely.
All right,
Like,
now
that's like, why do you think fucking Obama had Pusha T and shit in the White House? Like, what this is a pandering thing. Hey, Kendrick and Pusha and Jay-Z, come hang out with me because I'm cool. But
come on, man.
it's fucking pandering. And they pander to black people, which is what we were talking about. If they had any degree of actual critical thinking skills, they would be like, oh, these people didn't get mentioned because they don't fit the description of what it is that they're talking about currently. But no, because we have to fit in their little box that they want to live in because we said something negative about these people, therefore we support these people. But just like I said before, there are more than two options. You don't have to be either of these things. You don't have to say I'm a Democrat. You don't have to say I'm a Republican. You don't have to be a conservative or a liberal. You don't have to be right or left, red or blue, whatever the fuck. You could just be you. Like you said, free motherfucking thinking here. If I fuck with somebody, I fuck with them. If I don't, I don't. I'm not aligning myself to any of this shit because at the end of the day, I'm fully under the belief that they are two different pathways to the exact same destination. They just lure you down each side, but the hallways are diagonal and they come to a point. And either way, you're going to wind up in the exact same fucking spot. You think that you're doing something. All you're doing is choosing choosing your own slavery. Like who do I want to control me? These people or these people? It's all going to end the fucking same. You know what? If we're going to go down that, I don't even believe they fucking run shit anyway. It's just a whole little front for something, but that's a whole entire different topic.
Yes, it is.
The point is, people are so fucking stupid and simple minded. And you know what the funny thing is? I said that people were stupid and simple minded in the post, and they attacked you.
That's crazy though. I was
I
like, yeah, man.
insulted everyone, and they attacked you. Which fucking,
I'm like, I'm hitting Jason on the side, like, man, they jumping me and shit, man. Like, yo,
I'm the
come
one who
save
said the
me, man.
offensive thing. Like,
I know, like, hey, yo, it's crazy. I wanna ask you something, right? Because I thought about this. Why I was thinking like why people hate him or love this guy, hate this guy, right? And they all pander, right? I made that point under the comments. I'm like,
everyone.
they all pander. Everyone fucking panders. Every fucking human pandering to somebody, right? It's not a it's what it is, right? It's reality, right? So I made the point that they all fucking pander, right? So I was thinking why people hate him, why people love him, why people love this guy. When you pander, and I came up with this conclusion in my head. I wanted to see what you thought about it. When you pander to one demographic, I think you automatically can offend another demographic. When you pander to a certain demographic, you can offend, like, all right, for instance, I believe Trump panders to men, right? He knows what men like. And I think that automatically offends women, right?
Certain
You're
women.
good. So when so yeah, so when you pander to one side, you may like I and he panders to poor white people, right? You're going to offend some black folks if you pander to poor white people, right? Right? And vice versa. Like if you pander to black people, you're going to offend some white people. Like, so that all depends who you're pandering to, and then people. So I was like, what's the big deal with this dude, right? So he never outwardly said, "Yo, dog, I'm not racist." They want him. Why doesn't he say it? You know, I'm like, yeah, because he's pandering to white people. Like he's pandering, and then he panders to you too. Like, don't get me wrong, he knows what to do for you. He just gonna get the occasional rapper. Let me go grab Snoop. I'll fix y'all, or you know. And I'm not attacking the character because I don't know this guy. I don't know any of these people, right? All I can do is have an idea, right? All I'm saying is this pandering game, right? And it's all for votes, right? It's all for votes. So when you pander to one side, you may, I'm not saying it's 100% sure or 100% accurate, but if you pander to one side, white, black, female, trans, whatever, if you pander, you're going to offend someone else, right? Is that almost accurate?
I think I think that so when I'm a big believer that the existence of two parties is specifically to keep people divided, right? Because
I
if you
agree.
have, yeah, if you have a bunch of smaller parties, it's easier for people to come together and find common grounds. But when you have people split down the middle, they're going to be very opposed to everybody. So I believe that the division was the point. And in making everyone so divided, you have set it up so that you're automatically going to upset somebody when you say something. If you say something that the right likes, then the left is going to be upset. I didn't even specifically mean that to be a political thing. I just meant to the side either way. But if you say something that one side likes, the other side is automatically going to be upset because they like it. So they're going to get mad for no other reason than the fact that these people are here for it. So I think that that's kind of just, if it's not by design, it's a consequence of what the design was, just because that's the way that things have to work, right? If everyone's against each other, that anything that one side likes, the other side's going to dislike. That's like, even if you're in fucking school, you know, you have your team and you're playing a basketball game and the ref says something good for one side, the other side's going to be mad about it. It's just how it fucking works. But
Yeah.
you said a interesting thing about him never saying that he's not racist, and that made me think. We talked about this too before. Is they
Like
take
he
these
has to
late,
say that, but
but
it's
no,
just kind of funny.
but they people have weaponized these things, right? The racism, the sexism, the homophobia, and they throw them out so freely at people, and they label people with all of these things, and so people try and avoid that, right? They're very cautious in what it is that they say, and it's interesting because once you get labeled this thing, right? If someone pops up and says, "Hey, you're racist," any way that you try and defend it is only going to make you sound more racist. Like
I was
there's
about
no
to ask you. I was
There,
about to
there's no
ask you.
way. There's no way because you can't prove it. Like you're racist. Like how do you prove
Right.
that you're not? And then people say this thing. Well, the guy says, "Well, I have a black friend," and people sit there and they laugh at that shit. But it's like, how else do you prove that you're not like you can't really prove it. So you have to sit there and start doing the shit that this simple shit. Well, some of my family members are gay, or I have black
Right.
friends, or I was raised by women. It's like, well, all of that just makes you sound more guilty. So it's like the best route is just non-participation. And like you
I was
just
gonna
because someone
ask you. I was gonna ask you, like, if he just said, "All right, America, I am not racist." Do you believe him like that? Or
no one's
does
gonna
that just
believe it. It
does
sounds
that just
worse.
end the conversation? Yeah,
That sounds
man.
like something
Okay,
a racist
that's
person
all we
says.
needed, man.
That
That's all
sounds
I
like
wanted you to say, man. That's all I wanted you to say.
that
I
sounds
mean, you
like
should have just said
yeah.
that at the beginning, man. Like, man, that's all we
Oh,
wanted.
cool. It's all good. But that sounds like what a racist person says. I'm not racist. Sounds like what a racist person says. Like I'm not guilty. Sounds like what a guilty person says. Like sometimes the best path is just non-participation. You talk about it, cool, that's fine. You do your thing. I'm not going to play into it in either direction. So people saying he hasn't said that, well, it would be the stupid thing to say. All you're going to
Yeah,
do
right.
is worsen your scenario. Every time you try and like trying to deny anything makes you look guilty. That's just how it works. So sometimes you just have to disregard it and let it be what it's going to be. And you don't always need to fuel the fire, so to speak.
Yeah, nah, he ain't. He look, he's a slick cat, man. Like he could talk some. He could talk that man. Yeah, man. You know, I grab a little vagina from here to here. You know, and then men gonna be like, and then the
All right.
women are like, we hate this. Oh my. And I'm not. Look, I'm not. Look, I'm not advocating. I find all this shit funny. Maybe they. I know there's a lot of people that take this shit seriously. I
Yeah,
just
but
find this shit to be like a reality show, man. Like, are you fucking kidding me, man?
the thing
This
is
shit is not.
people is not anything, but people act like because he said that he's unfit to be something. It's like this is what people say. Like it's not. It is what it is. Like this isn't an assault charge. He said a thing that some people didn't care for. Ooh, such is life. Like you want someone to go through their whole entire life only saying things that everyone will approve of. That's fucking ridiculous. Like they take the weirdest shit and they try and say that like it proves a point. Like I remember back in the day when there was a whole thing with Tiger Woods cheating on his wife and everyone was so fucking appalled and shit. It's like, well, first, obviously, I don't condone cheating on your wife. It's a terrible thing to do. But the point is, I guarantee you, nobody was watching Tiger Woods swing his fucking little golf club and being like, man, I bet he's so faithful to his wife. You never
Right,
thought about
right.
this. Like, it changed how I see him. When did you think about this before they brought it up? What are you fucking talking about? This is nonsense. This has nothing to do. He's a golfer, man. He hits balls with a stick
Good.
across a field or whatever the fuck you call a golf course. Of course, he hits balls with a stick across a
A
course into a little
field.
fucking hole. The fuck do you care what he's doing in his relationship? As long as it's not some illegal weird shit, who gives a fuck?
Right,
That's
right.
between him and his wife.
Yeah, why do we care about these things though? Why do we care about this shit? I don't I don't like you're so fucking spot on with that shit, man. Like uh LeBron James is and his wife and Kevin Hart's wife and this guy's wife and Jay-Z's wife and this guy's yo man, you gotta why do people care about other people's personal business, dog? Like if you're great like if you're great at something and people love you for that said activity, that should be it, right? We should discuss that activity unless you make your relationship publicized and everything you do is in the public or whatever the case may be, and then it's open for public scrutiny or public opinion, let's say that. But even if it was, is your life so destitute of activity that you find this stuff interesting? Like, why do you find this stuff interesting? Why does it matter? Why does it matter that Tiger Woods, like, why does that matter? Like, who gives a fuck? What's going on with us?
I'm gonna tell you, I saw fucking Jumanji with fucking Kevin Hart and The Rock, and I'm like, this is a pretty cool movie, man. I don't give a fraction of a fuck what Kevin Hart does with his personal life, man. I don't care. I don't care if he cheats on his wife. I don't care if he has weird. I don't give a shit. It's
His
it's
business.
and this is yeah this people have this thing like, well, it's condoning the behavior. No, it's not. He doesn't give a fuck what I think either. I don't give a fuck what he does, and he doesn't give a fuck what I think. Like, what are you talking about? I don't give a shit. I don't care, and you shouldn't care. Do something with your own life. Like, I have my own relationships, I have my own people that I talk to, I have my own things going on. I'm not wrapped up in this person's life. I'm not wrapped up in what it is that they're doing. I don't care about the fucking scandals. I don't give a fuck what the baby said at Rolling Loud. I don't fucking give a fuck what Wayne thinks about Black Lives. I don't give a shit about any of that because I'm doing my own thing. Lil Wayne is not my spirit animal or life guide. He makes music and he raps cool. I like to listen to him, and that doesn't change because he thinks something that I don't like. I don't care who Kanye wants to be the president. I don't fucking care about any of it. I don't care what Tiger Woods does. I don't even know the LeBron James things. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter.
Well, what? But Jay, why can I? Why can I right now say something about someone else's relationship and people totally accept that and probably chime in, right, and be like, "Hey," but if I mention, "Hey, man, that motherfucker on the red carpet with a dress on, that big ass man on the carpet with a, I don't like, I don't think that's too." If now I can't say that though. Like I can't, but I could talk about somebody else's relationship. Oh man, he shouldn't be cheating on his wife, or she shouldn't be cheating on him, or why they. I could talk about that all day. But if I say, hey man, why this big 6'4" big ass nigga got this dress on, man? Like I don't think that, I don't think that's too groovy, man. Motherfuckers, man, mind your business. Mind your business. Like what the whole? Wait, hold on, wait a minute. Wait, why do I have to mind my business in one aspect and not the other aspect? Like what the fuck is going on? What is that? What is that?
Where's the mind your business energy with Cardi B and Offset? Like, what's going on?
Oh no,
Where's
I don't
that
got mind
mind
my
your
business.
business
Yeah, I don't
energy?
got my.
If this doesn't
Yeah,
have anything to do with you, you think that has something to do with you? You think the things that fucking Kevin Gates say affect you, but you can't, like, that is somehow minding your or not minding your business. But if a dude is in a dress, then I can't have an opinion about this. I can't have an opinion about the fact that fuck it. We're going down this. We're going down this rabbit hole for whatever
I'm
reason.
sorry. I'm sorry. I threw it out there
Hey, we're
because.
here. I'm here for it. But for whatever reason, the fucking cross dressers and the transformers are off limit to speak about. And it's absolutely fucking, it's the weirdest thing in the world to me that you could talk about all of this other shit, but you can't talk about that. You can't mention that because these people's feelings are so important. But they don't care about other people's feelings with all of this other shit. Like, you're perfectly fine calling people rapists and pedophiles. Like, what about their feelings? What about the fact that these people
Mm-hmm.
have to walk around with these labels for forever? What about the fact that y'all are so fucking comfortable calling Jay-Z all kinds of sex offenders off of him fighting a case that it looks like he's winning and someone's lying about? But you're perfectly fine with that shit. You're perfectly fine with calling Conor McGregor all sorts of predators and assaulters and shit off of what some random person said. But then when they take that back, no one apologizes for it. So you're cool with destroying these people's lives and terrorizing their feelings or their family's feelings. But if some dude named Peter wants to be Priscilla and I don't think he's that, then all of a sudden it's a problem. I'm a hateful person because I can acknowledge the fact that fucking trees aren't lampposts. Like,
Yeah.
somehow that's a hateful thing to say, and it doesn't. But all the rest of the shit is okay. It's okay to talk about whatever. It's okay to drag all these other people's names through the mud off of the slightest thing. It's okay to attack people's careers and tell them that they're terrible. You can put out an album and it's perfectly cool for people to go online and tear it down and tell you that you're awful and you're terrible. But if you
Yeah.
say something, if you point out an objective fact, then all of a sudden you're a bad person.
Yeah. I don't get that part, right? So yeah, like, and that seems to be like the only thing where they have to be. You have to talk nicely to them, and you can't disagree with anything. Like, okay, if one time I said it was a rapper wearing a dress, and I was like, hey man, you shouldn't probably be putting pictures out. Kids is looking up to this. Hey man, mind your business, man. He's a grown man. He can wear what he want. I'm like, okay, man. Sorry I said that, but so if I put, man, I apologize, but if I put an album out, right, for public consumption, do I want people to not dislike it, or if you dislike it, I hate you? Like, can you not have an opinion on my on what I put out to the world. Like, so if you put a picture out, if you on the red carpet with a dress on, I can't. I have to agree with you. I don't like it's. Now look, all right. So what you do behind closed doors is your fucking business. I don't care, dog. Like, so you can't call me a phobic nothing. I don't give a fuck. Do what you want. You like feet? You like rubbing feet together, nigga? That's your business, man. You do that on your own time, man. I don't. I just don't need to know about it. That's all I'm saying. I don't need to know about it. So, but if we hanging out and you say, man, I love feet, now you might get public scrutiny. Like, what the fuck
Motherfucker,
you
that's
just say, dog?
weird. Like,
What you just say, dog? Like, yo, I love 300-pound women. Like, what you just say, dog? Like, so now, but you volunteered that information. Don't tell me because this person put something out online. I'm not allowed to disagree with that person. Like, oh, mind your business. Well, it came across my timeline, and this
it's in my
person didn't.
face.
This person didn't need to make it public. So if I put out something that's artistically something from my heart and I make it public and I get mad at everyone who doesn't like it, what type of shit is that, right? So if you put these things out publicly, if you're Lizzo or if I'm 300 pounds, you gotta love me the way I am. Like, no, I don't. I don't really have to. I don't have to. I could disagree with you. I could disagree. I could disagree with homeboy with the dress on. I could be like, yo, I don't think I groove with that too much. Well, who asked you? Like, well, no, it's right there in my face, dog. Like, who asked you about my album? I didn't ask you. You just came out and said I don't like it. Cool. If I have to accept that, and I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine with you saying, well, man, Rand, you got some stupid ass shades on. I'm like, well, I hate your jeans. I'm like, okay. I mean, I did post a picture, so here it goes. Like, I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I if I put something out for public consumption, I know what comes with that. We talked about that off camera, and that's when you transform from spectator to gladiator and throw yourself into the arena of public opinion. You have to be ready for what comes with it. So if you just bust out of nowhere with some knee highs, and you 6'4", and you got some stockings on and knee highs, and you got grandma dress on, and it's fashionable. I can't comment on it, dog. I can't be like, man, that shit kind of, I don't know. This kid's why, oh, how's that gonna affect the kid? Raise your own kids. Like, damn, but dog, yeah, it's tough. It's the only community. I don't want to call them a community. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's the only group of people that you have to agree with everything they do. They don't like you to disagree with them with anything. Oh, well, that's the way it is. You can't say anything about it. Well, guess what,
The
motherfucker?
fuck I can't.
I don't like them knee highs, motherfucker. I don't like you being a big ass, ashy ass man with no motherfucking dress on. I don't like it. How about that? I don't like it.
Fucking
Look,
weird.
but keep it to yourself. If you behind closed doors, that's your thing, man. That like everybody got their thing, right? Do your thing. But once it's available for public consumption, you gotta be ready for what comes with that type of shit.
So my thing is, like, you do whatever it is that you want. You live your life in whatever way it is that floats your boat, as long as it's not directly harmful to someone else. I don't really give too much of a shit. And however it is that you would like to perceive yourself personally, that's perfectly fine by me. Where I have the problem is where you come and try and impose your reality upon me. So if you're some 450-pound woman and you think you're beautiful, that's perfectly fine. You do that. I don't believe you, but I mean, that's fine for you to think that. Where I have the issue is where you pop up and tell me that I too must think that you're beautiful. If you're a
Yeah,
dude and you think you're a woman, that's perfectly fine. You're free to think that. Where I have the problem is where you tell me that I must now
yeah,
believe that you are a woman. You could think that. I don't give a shit. If you think you're a tree, that's fine. You do that. I have a problem when you come up to me and tell me that I must now plant you in my backyard. No, that's fucking weird, and I don't want to participate in that shit. And I'm free to do that, just as you're free to see and view yourself as however it is that you like, whatever it is that floats your boat. Now, do I have certain things that I think about it? Yes, absolutely. And I'm free to do that as well, just as you are. People are all for this freedom and equality and inclusion and shit until it comes to someone who disagrees with them. It's
yeah,
like, you're free to do
yeah,
whatever it is that you want, as long as it's what we approve of. This is this is no different than the shit that you're fighting against. This is still bigotry. Like you have to realize this. This is intolerance as well. For you to say that we want tolerance, but if you disagree with us, fuck you, you're a terrible person. That's intolerance. Tolerance, despite what people like to claim that it is putting up with something even though you don't care for it. That's what tolerating is.
Mm,
You see, I don't like my neighbors playing music loud, but I tolerate it. That's not a statement of enjoyment. That's a statement of I will put up with it. So what you're
mhm.
asking for again, which again, going back to what we said in the very beginning, people don't understand fucking words and they don't understand what it is that they are saying. They just throw shit out there. But when you're asking for tolerance, you're asking for people to put up with you, not to agree with you, not to participate in your shit. Everyone does not need to participate in your weird ass little fucking delusions. And again, you're free to do that on your own. It's not even a mind your business thing that people say, right? Because if you critique, I saw a while ago when people were sitting there talking shit about fucking Fat Joe's outfit or whatever. So like, you have no problem critiquing people's outfits. What you have a
Yeah,
problem with is me critiquing someone's outfit when it's a man wearing a woman's clothes. And the
yeah.
question becomes,
What is that,
why?
dog?
And see, this is when they start sitting there saying you sound like a conspiracy theorist, because I'm going to sit here and say that as a whole, they don't want people to be masculine. So you can't challenge the pushback against the masculinity because they want to normalize dudes wearing dresses and getting boob jobs and long hair and shit and acting like bitches, painting their nails and wearing all kinds of sparkly makeup and shit and carrying handbags like fucking women. They want to normalize that drag shit with the, it's interesting. People have this thing, and this is a whole nother topic, but people have this thing with the cultural appropriation, right? Like if I put on a fucking sombrero, then it's a big problem, right? Like I'm being disrespectful to the Mexicans. If I
Mexican.
go and
Yeah.
put on a fucking headdress or something, then I'm disrespecting the Native Americans. If I go get a fucking kung fu gi, then I'm disrespecting the Asian people. Like maybe I just respect their culture and appreciate it. But if I go out and I get on makeup and make myself look like a woman, then how is that not cultural appropriation of womanhood? How am I not cosplaying? Why is that okay? Why can I do that? Why is it okay that I dress up like a caricature of a woman and prance around? Like, isn't that offensive too? If this other stuff is offensive, isn't that offensive? But it's not, because they want to normalize that shit. They want to normalize men being emasculated and running around acting like a bunch of bitches. Because as we've said before, bitches don't sit there and push back against shit. They just accept whatever it is that comes with stuff. So you just fall in line real quick. You have no more testosterone. You're not manly. You don't stand up for shit. You just do whatever the fuck it is that you would like to do. So they will like to normalize that shit. And that's why you can't speak on it, even though it's objectively weird.
Yeah, the part that gets me right. This is why I think that this is all a hoax. Um, it's all a fucking hoax, man. It is, Jay, because I'm the type of person, man. I believe with my eyes. So you out and about, man. We live in life. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Right? I don't see it. But when when I do see it, and I'm not criticizing nobody. I'm just telling you what I see, man. Um, when I do see it, I see it online. I see it online. I see it on TV, movies, TV shows, right? So I see it more in the fantasy world than I do in the
In the
real world. Like,
narratives.
because real people do real things, right? Like if you do what you do, real people just keep it in closed doors. Like, I'm outside, like, or they're respectable. Like, and we said this before, like, I have no problem with whatever your sexuality is or whatever weird little kinks you got or whatever I may think that's weird to me. Whatever, that's your business, man. Like you respectful me to me, I'm respectful to you. It's almost to the point where like I would look at you weird, a heterosexual person or couple just going at it outside. Like I would look at that weird. Like, yo, go get a room, dog. Like, what are you doing? So it's not just that people like, oh, you homophobic or this and that. No, it's not that. It's not that. It's just
Some
a
shit's
way you should
private.
probably yes, a way you should probably conduct yourself in public settings. So what? My original point was I don't usually see people being disrespectful, even if whatever your preference is. Everybody should respect each other walking the streets. Like I'm not walking around on some chest out and with my lady and hey, I got a lady and I'm extra heterosexual. Like, oh, man, what type of? I'm just an extra heterosexual. Like, yeah,
I'm
like
real
what?
into
No,
women.
Right, yeah, like so, like we all, if we walk in these streets, we all respected each other. Like, all right, look, you see two guys, you see two guys, whatever, man. They minding their business. You see me with my wife, I'm minding my business. This person over there minding their business. People minding their business. But when you go online, it's not like that.
I didn't want to
Everybody's
throw that shit on
extra.
you.
Yeah, every. So I say that to say I don't believe that's real life, man. I believe there's two versions of people's reality, right? And our version is the real world where we walk in the streets and everybody's pretty much there's no oh man, I got to stay away from that guy right there or this guy. Oh no, it's all everybody pretty normal to some extent, right? But you go online and everybody's going everybody. I guess you get to be whoever you want to be online, and so I say that to say there's not a great percentage, I believe, what we were talking about, just motherfuckers, big hairy motherfuckers walking around in dresses and shit. I see that shit more online than you do really see it in the real world, and is that on purpose, right? I believe
Yeah.
it's on purpose, right?
So, I mean, to that point, well, to what you said before, just with the straight person, I don't want to say what, it doesn't fuck matter. If some random dude walked up to me and introduced himself and told me that he was really into Mexican women, I would think that was fucking weird too.
That's
Like,
weird. That's
it's a
weird as
weird
shit.
thing to do. Like, I don't care, man. Like, if you just walk, I'm really into bondage. Like, get the fuck away from me, man. Like, I don't care if
Right.
you're, I don't care. I don't want to know that shit. Keep that shit to your fucking self. Like, that's not for me. That's not for me to know. That's not for you to advertise to the world. That's between you and the people that you fucking tie up or whatever. That's y'all business. It don't got nothing to do with me.
I agree.
So when
I
people
agree.
make that shit their whole entire personality, it's fucking weird in either direction. It's not just gay people with the shit. Straight people, it's fucking weird. Like if there was a straight parade, a bunch of dudes going down the street talk about I like blonde women, like that'd be weird. Like what the fuck are y'all doing? Like who gives a shit? But
Right.
to the other point, like every once in a while, I've seen a few of them out in the wild, so to speak. But it's always jarring and off putting. But yeah, I think it's pushed online because again they're trying to normalize it, right? Like if you there was a while where if you would see a Target ad or any ads, it was always one of them on there or some dude in a fucking bikini or some weird shit like that because that's what they want to that's what they want to normalize and it's again I know I sound away and we sound like a certain type of people when we talk about the
Yeah.
emasculation of men and
The shtick.
feminization of men
Different
and shit
shtick.
like that, but huh.
They'll say it's a shtick. A
Yeah,
shtick we're doing. A
I
routine.
know it sounds away, but you could look at all of this shit all around and you see that where they're trying to discourage you from being strong and they're trying to encourage men to be emotional and cry and all of that shit. Like an emotional man is a dangerous man. Like what do you think school shooters are? Like a school shooting is a temper tantrum. Like however it is that you would like to slice that. That's a man who can't control his emotions. That's a man who needs to cry every time he's fucking sad. Like this is what domestic violence and all of this shit is a man who can't control his emotions, who gets mad and has to outwardly express it. Like all of this shit is men who don't control their emotions, but they're trying to push for that shit. And the thing of, well, you don't need to be tough and you don't need to be strong and you don't need to be stoic, and stoicism is toxic and it's good to it's fine to dress up as a woman and walk around with a dress and your little open toed shoes on and put on makeup and all of that shit. And that's what men need to see. And men need to get together in their little cry circles and share their fucking feelings and all of this other shit. And it's just the encouragement of weakness because weak people again are malleable and controllable. You can control a weak person because they're not going to fight back against you. And that's again, like we said before, that's when they pop up and they're like, well, we'll just put the masks on. Okay, that's fine. You don't want us to leave our house. Okay, cool. We'll just sit in our house. If you want us to pay more taxes, okay, cool. We'll pay more taxes. You want to teach our kids this weird shit. Okay. I mean, if it's what you think is best, like it's all of this shit is intentional. And through it's been like that forever through media is they push what it is that they want you to think. Like if you even separate from the weird shit, like if you watch TV, you see the like the average sitcom is the glorification of such a mundane and boring life. They make working at a Walmart seem glamorous, or sitting there slaving away in an office look like the thing to do. Like I've seen
Hmm.
certain fucking sitcoms. I'm like, man, that looks fucking great. If I worked at a Walmart like that, I'd be happy forever. But
Right,
because
right.
that's what they make it seem like. They push this shit, or like the epitome of life is sitting at a coffee house with your friends talking, or sitting at the same diner every day doing nothing. Like they glamorize mediocrity. And again, I know that some people truly want that life, and that's perfectly fine for them. But I think that more people are pushed towards that than actually want it themselves, or they believe that this is the ideal because it's all that they see, and they don't think that anything else is possible.
You know what else weak men do, man? Or emotional men and weak men. They charter planes to go on go to islands
See that
and take advantage of kids. That's what weak men do, right?
that's another thing. You can't control your sexual urges. Like you can't. You're just out there for pleasure. That's what that is. All of that's
Hmm.
weakness. The overindulgence in anything is weakness, and being controlled by pleasure makes you weak. Period.
So kind of gives you a inkling of kind of why. Well, I'm reading between the lines, of course. Why would they want a weak man? Well, maybe a weak man would look at me and I was weak that day, and it was a 12-year-old boy, and I was weak. So maybe if a weak man will look at it like that, hey man, yeah man, he was weak, man. He touched that little boy, man. He was weak, man. Leave him alone. So it's like I'm not trying to even be jovial or satirical,
Nah,
but
it's a real thing though. Like if you like, I've seen snippets of like the R. Kelly documentary with like all these girls talking about stuff. It's like, but the question is like, where were their fathers with all of this stuff? You know, like
mm,
why are you not here to step in with the shit? Or you see the like investigation discovery or whatever about these young girls who got kidnapped or murdered by their boyfriend, and then you see their dad on screen talking, and it's never somebody. It's never somebody who
never.
looks like they would have done something about it. It's never someone because in some it helps when your father should be your protector, but
Hmm.
you can't do that if you're weak. You can't protect your children if you can't even protect yourself.
Absolutely,
You're not
and
you're
it,
not good for anybody.
absolutely, and that was the part of the reason I wanted to do something different with our podcast and not just strictly talk about one thing or the other, rap or whatever the case may be. And I do have my opinions on that shit. I feel like even with our rap music, man, we these dudes used to be, when I came up, Chuck D and KRS One, these was fucking men, kind of like, you looked to them and they was teaching, they was raw, they was rough. Ice Cube and Nas, and these was dudes,
Tupac.
man. Tupac, and these was dudes, man. Like they kind of molded, and oh, raise your own kids. Well, that's not realistic, man. Like the soundtrack
There's
to your
always
life.
outside influences.
Yeah, man, it's a soundtrack. It's the soundtrack to your life, right? These people like they were like rap raised me. Rap. My mother was there, but rap. You go once. I always say this, man. Like the people inside your house, your parents, your father, your mother, they don't know you like that. You always shock them when they find out, by chance they might find out who you really
Oh,
are.
not
You'll
my
shock them.
son, not my boy.
Right? You hear that often, right? So they don't know you, man. It's the outside that raised you. It's your musical choices. So when I see these rappers now, and I'm like, damn, these are weak. I'm gonna just say it, man. Y'all motherfuckers is weak, man. Y'all not a great representation of a man to me.
No, and it's the thing is like back in the day, like people had even still like yeah, it was the gangster shit. Like Nas talked about the gangster shit. Tupac did, fucking Ice Cube did, but there was lessons and morals with it, right? Like
Yeah, for
like
sure.
not like Nas put the violence in with the conscious shit, right? Tupac did the same thing. Ice Cube did the same thing. Even DMX, there was he wasn't conscious in the same way, but he had the message in there, the
Yeah.
positivity in there, the trying to be better no matter what in there. Like or you had the people with like 50 Cent and fucking Jeezy and all of them that had still, yeah, it was more gangster shit, but it's still the someone that you can look up to and aspire to be, and the lessons that come along with the stuff, right? Like it's not just all good, it's not just murder, it's not just selling drugs, it's not just making money, and that's what it is now. Is like I hear some shit and like it's cool, and it's like I don't want to name anybody, but like I hear some shit, it sounds cool, it sounds catchy, but like I find myself was like I can't listen to this because it's just murder, it's just killing people, it's just violence, and it's just negativity. Like at some point there needs to be something in it. Like I need some sort of message in there with that, and then that's we talked about this a while ago, but like it's like people like you, people like Lloyd Banks and shit, who you see that came from back in the day, and then you see where they went kind of now, and that you have all of the messages and the underlying stuff and the stuff that you could take away from there. Like there's the motivational bars and the uplifting bars and the lessons, the game. Like no one is giving out anyone game anymore except for very few people, and it's a fucking shame because like you said, I mean, music raised me too. Like this is where I got a lot of the shit of how it is that I'm supposed to be and the shit that I'm supposed to do, like watching the rappers and seeing what it is they do, seeing what it is that they talk about, the songs that are on repeat in my head over and
Mhm.
over and over and over again. And it regardless of how what people like to say, like that shit sits in your subconscious, and it influences what it is that you want to do and who it is that you want to be. And if that doesn't have any sort of message, and it's not, like you said, men talking about real shit, then what is it doing for you? It's just entertaining you. And that's why you have all of the fucking idiots now who with 48 fucking million face tattoos, and that's really it. That is their whole entire shtick. And that's not a shot completely at face tattoos. Like I said, I fucking love Lil Wayne, but it's different.
Yeah, it's different, and I'll go a step further to say like music is vibrational, right? So yeah, motherfucker, you can hear a motherfucker talking some shit, but it's usually on something soulful. You know what I mean? Like so we would sample James Brown, and you would sample all these artists, and it's usually love songs and shit you sampling from. Like most of these sampling love songs is if we talking about the OJ's and all these different artists. These artists made these are R&B soulful art. They made love songs. These are what we was sampling, right? And we might be talking some gangster shit on it, but it's vibrational, so you don't feel like, hey man, I'm about to go spin the block to this motherfucking this soul sample, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not the vibration was different, right? So Cool G rap never really made me want to go, you know what I'm saying? Not made nothing can make you, but I'm talking about the vibration, the
Inspired you, yeah.
soundtrack. Really the soundtrack to what you're doing, right? Like if you want to go, like you would relate to this, you want to go get some money, like yo, I'm about to go get some money. You put some Jay-Z on, man, a vibrate, like it's a vibration to it, right? So if you listen to if you and trust me, it's intentional, right? So they know what keys and what vibrate, what keys and what notes to play that does. I'm trying to tell you. So
All of it.
yeah, all of it is intentional. Like when you listen to not only the lyrics, but you listen to the beats now. A lot of this shit is demonic too, right? So if you listen to the beats, just listen to the instrumentation, right? There's no soul to it. There's no vibration to it. And if it is a vibration, is usually a negative vibration. You get a negative vibe, or you get a vibe like you just want to like, oh, that's chill, man, like chill.
Yeah,
So
like
they want you docile, like they really want you docile, or they want you docile, or they want you ultra violent, or
destructive.
hypersexual, right? And you see the female rappers and the certain type of shit they rap on and what they rap about, but also the vibrations they're rapping on, the type of beats they're rapping on. It all plays hand to hand. And I wanted people to realize what's going on, especially with the vibrations of the music, man.
Yeah, you have to like I know it sounds like some like this sounds like some old shit that like my parents would tell me or something, but like you gotta be careful of the shit that you're listening to. Like what you consume isn't just food, it's what you watch, it's what you listen to. All of that shit
Yeah.
has an effect. And when it's just constant fucking negativity, like you can feel it. It's the like you said with the vibrational, it's a reason that certain music makes you want to just sit there and smoke or whatever. Like you could throw on a fucking
Mm-hmm.
Currency album and smoke to that shit, shit because it's just
Mm-hmm.
fucking low key and tone the fuck down, and it's the way it hits you. But like there's a or
The frequencies he's hitting,
exactly.
like
But
the
there's
beats that.
a it's not just what it's about because what's the 50 Cent song, the I get high all the time, but that's not a
Mhm.
smoking song because that's not the vibration that shit's on. So it's not just the fucking content of the music because again, for as violent
Right,
as Tupac or Nas was, none of that shit ever is like this is what I'm gonna listen to while I'm sitting outside somebody's house waiting to shoot them the
right,
fuck up. It's not
right.
that. But the shit that they have now is exactly that. It's
That
the I'm gonna do some violent shit. Even if you're not a
that
violent person, like I'd be hearing some
person,
shit,
yeah.
I'd be like, man, why am I not armed right now? Like this shit
Mm.
is fucking wild.
Yeah, nah, and yeah, it's the soundtrack to what I'm gonna spin the block. Let's play. I'm gonna play this shit while I'm spinning the block. You're not gonna play no shit with no OJ sample. You're not spinning.
No,
You
you're
know what I'm
not
saying?
listening to
Unless you're a
fucking
maniac, like unless you're a
even that's
maniac. But
even the people you're not doing that listen to 50 fucking cent even like
nah,
like
right.
that's not what's happening as violent as the shit was it wasn't that it's different it's you gotta like especially the younger people too like when you're younger and you don't really understand what it is that's going on and the shit just sounds cool because you see the motherfucker with all of the chains and the tattoos and the $8,000 jeans talking about spinning the block and sliding up and down the street and catching their enemies and all of that shit is like when you see all of that shit it's influential in the worst fucking way and you
Mhm.
but they don't highlight all of the negatives that come along with that shit and it seems cool but like when you sit there and you take a look at some stuff like I like battle rap. Who's a great example of this is fucking Sue Surf, and just see what happened to him with all of that shit. And it's just it's a terrible, it's a bad fucking path to go down, and the music does not help with that shit at all.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And I, I'm a fan of battle rap too. And usually, when you mention someone that's currently incarcerated, you probably will say, "Hey, free so and so." I don't do that, right? Especially you've been convicted of a crime. It's not free so and so. It's not free this word. It's like, yo, do your time. Come home stronger, bro. I did my like, you know what I'm saying? Come do your time. Come home strong,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes you need that lesson.
No, yeah, for sure. Like, and I never got that anyway. Like a motherfucker went to trial, and when I'm not specifically talking about Sue right now, anybody, right? Any artist or whoever, motherfucker go to trial, lose trial, sentenced to let's say 3 years. Oh man, JoJo, man, free JoJo. How the fuck you gonna free him, man? He
What
just
are you
been
gonna
convicted.
do? He's he's gone, man. This is
It's over, man.
it's
Like, bro,
nothing you can do about this.
how we gonna free JoJo, man?
Or we
How
about
we
to
gonna
break
free
this
him, Jay?
motherfucker out. That's just they all just gonna go back. Like
Yeah, free JoJo. Like, how, nigga? Like,
you think
what?
they
How
go
the fuck we gonna
like they go
how
see
we
that and
gonna
be like,
free
oh,
JoJo?
people don't want him in here. Okay, you free to go.
Yo, what's up with that? Like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I never got that shit. Like, yo,
Nah,
free.
it's weird, but it's just what it is. You know, free the homies. That's just what it is.
Hey, man, look, it's free. I mean, I don't know. Break them out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I know, but that's just what people say. But the thing is like that's an unfortunate situation, and that's an unfortunate example of what it is that happens when you stick too closely to some shit that does not serve you.
mm-hmm, for
And
sure.
but you don't back in the day with the music you got that you got that side with it but you don't now it's just all everything is good and
Yeah,
going to jail seems like a badge of fucking honor and it's wild.
yeah, no, it's crazy. The one thing I would say, man, is the way I rap now, or the things I rap about now. I, not that I want to make up for for whatever damage I may have done. I don't think I was the fucking antichrist or no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, I'm older, so
Yeah,
I think I owe my listeners to which I owe myself some type of fucking growth. And man, like that, it's not the same shit, man. Like I owe the listeners, I owe myself, you know, to put something out that's on a different vibration and shit. And I know the reason why. I know the reason why people use prison as a badge of honor, and I get it. I get it, man. But the way I present it is surviving those type of situations. Sometimes it don't even got to be prison, man. It could be anything, war, shootout, whatever the case. If you survive, it kind of lets you know. It's kind of like looking in the mirror and escaping and knowing who you are after that situation, right? So when you go in, let me give people an inside look or inside feeling of how it may feel to be locked up, right? So not even to be locked up, but come home, right? So when you go in, you're going by yourself. You're going by yourself, and the only thing you have is yourself, right? So you know that it can only go two ways. There's only two ways you could go. It's like man, am I gonna make it out, or I'm just gonna fold? There's only two ways, and you only got yourself. Most people would be like, let me go join a gang, let me go join the Aryan Navy, whatever. I'm gonna go, let me go team or whatever. It'll be a big black motherfucker in the Aryan Nation. Like, man, I'm teaming
Swastika
up.
on his forehead.
Yeah, we finna team up with somebody. But what I'm saying is you look yourself in the mirror and you say, listen, man. And then when them doors open and you come out and you unscathed, but then you think about all the stuff that you had to do to become us this person, it is a badge of honor. Like you like, yo, man, like I didn't compromise anything, especially if you come out a new man and you didn't compromise anything. I'm not a when I went in Randy Nichols. I came out Randy Nichols, not OG Blood, triple OG Crip, Mustafa, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Those, you feel me? I came in the way I came out,
Come out
but I
with
came out.
the kufi and
Right. Nah, I didn't do. There wasn't none of that. I wasn't that. And look, I'm not trying to diss nobody. I'm just saying, like, you find out. What I'm saying is, you find out a lot about yourself. So when you go to school and you go to college and you do go to these things, you learn about other people. Like, you go to school, you learn about great other people's fucking great fucking accomplishments, and but when you go in there, you learn about yourself. That's the only subject that really matters. So that's why there's certain people that come out like, hey man, I had this did five in Royal and it's like, yeah, and yeah, you know what? But guess what? I'm a better man from it, and I'll never go back. But that shit, and that's why I look at it as a not a badge of honor, but it is an honorable thing to come out a better person, not a piece of shit. That should always be honorable, whether it be war or and you didn't compromise who you are, right? You didn't compromise your integrity or your morality, and you came out stronger. That should be applauded. You should bring that to the forefront, right? Not the idea of prison, but the idea of going into something so fucking catastrophic and coming out unscathed and even stronger, right? So that should be applauded, but not the idea of prison, of course not. Like I said, it could be anything. It could be anything.
any sort of hardship. Yeah, no, I absolutely
Any
agree.
sort of
Go
hardship.
making it through and coming out better of anything is absolutely a badge of honor. 1000%. Anything difficult, any sort of fucking adversity. What I'm saying, there people act like going in and of itself is
Oh,
like
oh, that's horrible.
that's what
That's the
that's
worst part. That's horrible.
That's what I'm
That's the
talking
worst
about. But
part.
that's what people make the shit seem like it's a cool things, and it's just weird. It's just the glorification of negativity and self destruction.
It sucks, man. And that's where we at. That's where we are with this shit. And I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And I do. At some point we challenge people. We're challengers. We will challenge people. And I do. At some point, I'm gonna challenge my fellow peers and my fellow rappers and to be better, man. There is people. You're not raising anybody's kid, but there there's people looking, man. We have, especially the older artists, right? Bruh, if you you're 45 and you still making music, that I find that to be weird too, man.
It
If you
is
in your
weird as fuck.
40s and you still making music for someone that's not even in your age group, I find that to be weird. Like, and
It's weird as
I
shit.
don't even think that's good business either. Like, because you have this demographic that grew up with you, right? A certain age demographic that grew up with you, right? They grew up with you through your 20s and your 30s and your 40s. So now that you're in your 40s, you feel like, oh well, I want to be lit. So let me go all over, reverse all the way back and talk to people in their 20s. So you alienate as a 45-year-old rapper, alienate you alienate the people that grew with you from your 20s, 30s. Like, yo, what the fuck is he talking about, dog? We're like, we no longer do that stuff as your fan base. We no longer do that shit. Well, who are you talking to? You're not talking to us, right? So I find that to be weird. Like, if you in your 40s and you still talking about doing shit that motherfuckers doing in their 20s, like, what are you doing? Like, who are you trying to impress?
It's weird. So I look at it in two different ways, right? Because there's some people who, like, you see that were started off younger and grew and became a lot different, like content wise and stuff wise. Like I say, you, Lloyd Banks, Jeezy, along those lines, and
Hmm.
they kind of elevated it. But I also look at that in like a different type category where you look at, like I've mentioned Lil Wayne. Like Lil Wayne, I've kind of put in the category if he raps because he's good at rapping.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with
So
that.
or but like it'd be weird to hear like Jeezy talking some trap or die shit now, right? It's like
Right,
you didn't grow. That's
right.
weird. Even there's a lot of people you see that they grow. So, but I don't think that even when you go, like you hear Lil Wayne talk about some violence or some other shit like that, I don't really view that in the same way that I view
Yeah,
the people who are still, because he's like when he says it, I'm like, he says this because it was a cool thing to say, right?
yeah. No, for sure. I'm not even putting him in that. He's not in
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm saying.
category.
But like
Without
it'd
not
be
him.
weird to hear Nas go back and make another fucking. Well, I mean, he's always been kind of grown. Maybe that's not a good example, but
Right. Yeah, yeah. Right.
but it's the shit now. Like people make the drill shit now, and there's the older people that try and go make that type of shit. It's like that's weird that you're doing that. Like you should have grown. The people you were listening to have grown exactly like you said. I mean, there are some grown people though who want Jeezy to go make another fucking Trap or Die
That's true.
album. Like it's weird as shit. And
That's true.
people get mad when people grow. They want to, because they stayed the same. They want everyone else to stay the same so they can keep being the soundtrack, not realizing that it's just as sad for this older person to make this music as it is for you to be old and wanting to hear the shit.
Mm,
Like
that's crazy.
it's a difference between hearing some shit that you heard when you were a kid and it's nostalgic and shit, and you still looking for that currently. That's weird.
Right. No, I agree, man. I agree. And I wasn't putting Wayne in that category. That Wayne take was spot on, man. Like he just want to say the illest shit and the coolest shit
He's a good
at this
ass
point.
rapper. He wants to rap.
Yeah, he just want to rap and shit. So I don't put him. He just want to currently mix it up and do the like you said, dope ass bars and shit and witty punchlines and shit like that. So that's the you're right. He just want to rap good, right? And I respect that too. But there are certain artists that I'm like you said, I'm like, dog, like trying to appease to a younger fan base, and it's crazy because I don't really even. I blame certain older rappers, but I blame the system also. You always got to blame the system because
Oh,
the idea,
1000%.
yeah, because the idea of you thinking that you should do that, there's a reason why you think you should appease the 20-year-olds or 16-year-olds. There's a reason why you think, oh, I gotta be lit. I gotta make a lit song or whatever the case may be. You think you have to appease to a certain demographic or a certain age group in order to reach this type of success or to have this type of record or whatever the case may be. And so and that's the system. The system the system makes them believe that they have to do these certain things. So whether I don't blame them 100%, but you are a grown ass fucking 45,
Yeah, you
50 year
got,
old
so
rapper. So yeah,
there is a, again, not to name names right there, but when you talk about that, there's a very specific person that pops into my head, and it's, I don't know, man, it's weird. And You like you have to offer people something more. Like you owe it to people to, because I know that you've grown as a person. Like I know that you were not the same person from 10 years ago when you were putting this shit out. Like you can't be. So you owe that growth to people too. Like I'm a big believer that as a, you owe some sort of positivity to the world, and especially when you have such a big fucking audience. Like there is,
Yeah,
I remember when it was like the BET Awards or some shit like that, and Nipsey Hussle slapped the fucking security guard and everyone was talking about
yeah,
it, and he sat down and he said, everyone was praising him for keeping it real and all that shit, and he sat down and said, I know better than that, and this is not what I should have done, and this is not what it is that I want to portray to people. Like you owe people that shit, because you
right,
know that they're, that especially younger people, because I know there's a bunch of young people who watch that shit. It's like, oh, that's fucking gangster. I want to be like that too.
right,
And
right, right.
but you have the responsibility to pop up and be like, nah, like I did that, but that wasn't cool. Like you at a certain point, you have this responsibility to not push this harmful shit on people. And when I was younger, I used to think, well, that's fucking stupid. You don't owe anybody a fucking thing. You do whatever it is that you want. But as I get older and I become, I like to think wiser. Like I don't think that that is, if nothing else, karmically, that's not good for you to do,
I
because
agree.
you have the wisdom, and hoarding wisdom is like, people talk about people hoarding money all the time because they're fucking entitled and stupid, but hoarding wisdom is an actual terrible thing to do. Like you're
It
depriving
is.
the world of positivity and growth.
It is, and that's part of the reason why this podcast right now exists. With the both of us, because I felt like sometimes not saying anything is worse than actually saying things that people don't like, or so I felt like just sitting there with these thoughts and not saying anything was actually worse, right? And not voicing certain things. And we talked about, like, man, whether nobody listened to it or a million and people listening to it, it don't even matter, man. We're doing this shit to better whatever situation the listener may be in. We're doing it to better the situation, right? So it don't even matter the shit blow up, the shit don't, I don't give a fuck about that. This is more for us, right? So we spoke about, this is more for us doing the uncomfortable, doing well. For me, it's uncomfortable. So this is for me, and I tweeted this, I think today. I tweeted this, like, you do the uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable. So you're comfortable in the uncomfortable situations to make your life more comfortable, right? So, and that's what this is about for me. Like, really getting out there, voicing my opinion, not just rapping it, because it's easy for me to rap. I could easily put these things in a rap and whatever the case may be. But I felt like people need to hear my voice. Jason, I have a voice. I have a voice, and I want
I'm
to.
using my platform.
I want my platform. I have a voice. I want to use my fucking voice. Right? Oh, I hate that shit.
I'm
I have a
speaking
voice.
up.
Yeah, I have a voice, and I'm gonna use it. By golly, damn it! Like, get the fuck out of here,
How are
man.
you
But yeah,
all staying silent? Oh shit.
yeah. But again, game within the game within the game, man. Look, hey, man, I'm gonna end the show. I'm gonna say this, and this is about to be the way we end this shit. Hey, Jason, man, I knew you laughing before. But I'm gonna just ask you a question. I might end the show. I might end the show every show like this. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Nah, that's how we,
What?
yeah, this the new outro. This is how we rocking.
When was the last time you was wrong?
Early 90s. It's been a minute. It has been a minute, sir.
Nah, I feel you, man. Like, I just want to ask. I just want to ask you, man, like, because people, no, people are dispute certain. Like, all right, let me get this. Let me get this straight. Let me get this straight for you people. This is not a fucking debate show, right? It's not media. You guys are media now, and you're doing media. I'm so proud of you, Rand. I'm not no fucking media guy. I'm not. It's not no debate show. So if you could come in the comments and try to debate, it's not a debate show because we're not wrong. We're not
Man,
fucking wrong. We're
All
right
right.
all the time. Even when we not, we right.
This
Okay?
is what okay. All right. So here this is where I'm at. People have this fucking belief that if they disagree with you, it's somehow your obligation to engage in whatever debate you want. I don't give a fuck what you think about what the fuck I goddamn say. I said the shit. You think I'm wrong? Fucking whoop-de-doo. That's not my problem. It's yours.
That's your problem, and we ain't debating, motherfucker. We right, you wrong. That's how we gonna look at it. You wasting your
Facts.
breath. You are wasting your fucking breath.
I don't give a fuck
I don't care.
at
We're right,
all.
you're wrong. The last time the motherfucker was wrong was in the 90s.
Early 90s. Y'all probably wasn't even fucking alive then.
And I and
Acting
I
like you
told you
know
the
some
last
shit.
time I told you the last time I was wrong. It was 86. I was 8 years old. I told you. I told you I was 86. 1986 was the last time on record that I was wrong. I had spoke the words came out of my mouth and it was the wrong words. Last time it was in 86 on record. My wife will still disagree, but she's wrong. She's wrong. She's wrong. 86.
All wrong.
All wrong.
Every
And
one
we're
of you
all right.
motherfuckers. We
All
know
right.
what the
So
fuck we're talking about. That's why we saying shit.
yes, we trying to look, read between the lines. We giving you the lines. You got to read between them, but you can't because you're not smart enough to do it. So let us do it for you, right? And just agree with us. That's it.
Just
That's all you got
understand
to
that
do.
these are facts. Accept them into your life, incorporate them, and build off of that.
And that's it. And that's the game within the game, brother.
Game
Come on,
within a
man.
motherfucking game.
Just let us drive the car, man. Just sit in the back seat and shut up.
Don't ask about when we go fucking get there. We gonna arrive when we arrive. Shut the fuck up. Listen
That's
to some
it. Don't
goddamn
ask no
music and
fucking
enjoy
questions.
it.
Shut the fuck up. Let Jason call you stupid. And don't say
Dumbass.
nothing. He's gonna call you stupid
Bitch.
a lot of times. He's gonna
Mad
call you a
times.
bitch.
Also
He's
that.
gonna call you. But
The names. This is what the fuck it is that I do. And you know what? Such is fucking life.
and you guess what? You're gonna grow from it. You're gonna grow from it, and you're gonna get stronger. That's what
Because
we're
you need
doing.
to hear this shit. Someone needs to tell you that you were stupid. Someone needs to tell you that you were a bitch and that you fucked your life up. And that's what I'm here for.
Yes, and I'm here to agree with him.
And with that, we are fucking out.
Peace.